Hello friends, in previous video we have studied the impulse turbine. In this video we are going to study another type of turbine which is used in the steam power plant, that is reaction turbine. So let us study in detail construction and working of the reaction turbine. In case of reaction turbine, the pressure drop occurs between both in nozzles or the fixed row of the blades as well as in the moving row of the blades, which is as shown in figure A and B, since the moving blade channels are also of the nozzle shape. So let us see the diagram. So here figure A shows variation of the pressure and the velocity in the two reaction stage. Here we can see this is the inlet of the steam and various pressure and the velocities are shown. Similarly, figure B shows variation of pressure and velocity in the two-row Curtis stage, which is followed by the two reaction stage. This is for the different stage. Now, due to expansion of the steam while flowing through the various blades, there is increase in its kinetic energy as well. So, this increase in the kinetic energy gives rise to the reaction in the opposite direction as per the Newton's third law of motion. We know that Newton's third law of motion states that every action has equal and opposite reaction. So the blades begin to rotate both due to impulse of the jets and the reaction force of the exiting jet, which is impressed on the blades in the opposite direction. So these type of turbines are called impulse reaction turbines. Now in order to distinguish them from the impulse turbine, the turbines are simply called as reaction turbine. Now the degree of reaction, which is represented by R, of these turbines are defined as R is equal to delta HMB divided by delta HFB plus delta HMB. Let it be equation number 1. Now let us see what are the subscript mentioned in the equation number 1. So equation 1, the subscript MB represents for the moving blades, whereas the subscript FB represents for the fixed blades. Now if we consider that delta HMB is equal to 0, then the reaction R is also equal to 0. So this is the case of the pure impulse turbine where there is no enthalpy drop of the steam in the moving blades and all the enthalpy drop of the steam stage takes place only in the nozzle. Similarly, if we consider that delta HFB is equal to 0, then value of R, that is the reaction of the reaction turbine, is equal to 1. So this represents the case in which of the pure reaction turbine, that is reaction is equal to 100%, whereas this type of turbine, the example is Hero's turbine. Now if we consider that the enthalpy drop in the fixed and moving contacts, that is if we consider that delta HFB is equal to delta HMB is equal to delta H of that particular stage divided by 2, then in this case reaction is equal to half or 50%. Sometimes 50% reaction turbines can also be called as Parsons turbine. So the velocity diagram for the moving blades of the 50% reaction turbine are as shown in figure C. So here figure C shows the velocity diagrams of the 50% reaction turbine. So here we can see there are the two angles beta 1 and beta 2. This is VR1, here we have VR2, then this is V2, then delta VA is equal to 0, alpha is equal to beta 2, beta 1 is equal to 180 minus del, then this line represents delta VW. Now all these terms are similar as we have already studied in the impulse turbine. Now if we consider the simple impulse turbine, then the value of VR2 would be given by B, but in case of the reaction turbine, this value is increased to BC. Let us see this in the figure. So if we consider the simple impulse turbine, then the VR2 would have been represented by B. This we have already seen. But in case of the reaction turbine, it is represented by extension, that is BC. So this further increase is due to the fact that there is a further expansion of the steam in the nozzle shaped blade channels if we consider the reaction turbine. Now for the advantage of the manufacturing, both the fixed blades as well as moving blades are made up of the same shape. This becomes easier for the manufacturer. Delta HFB is equal to delta HMB. We can write V1 is equal to VR2. Now again for the similar geometry, we can write alpha is equal to beta 2 is equal to 180 degree minus gamma. So from the figure we can see that triangle ABD is similar to triangle DBC. Hence we can write VR1 is equal to V2. Similarly, beta 1 is equal to 180 degree minus del. Since beta 1 is not equal to beta 2, we can say that the two blades are not symmetrical or they are unsymmetrical. Delta VA is equal to 0. There is no axial thrust which is imposed on the blades due to the change in the axial velocity at the 50% of the reaction turbine. However, there will be a considerable axial thrust which will be produced due to the pressure difference across the blades in the each rotor disc, since there is a pressure drop of the steam across the moving blades. Hence, we can write delta VW is equal to V1 cos of alpha minus V2 cos of del. Further, this equation can be modified as delta VW is equal to V1 cos of alpha plus VR2 cos of beta 2 minus VB. This is because the value of del is very much greater than 90 degree. Further, we can write delta VW is equal to twice V1 cos of alpha minus VB. Also, we know that delta VW is equal to VR1 cos of beta 1 plus VR2 cos of beta 2. Further, we can simplify the equations as delta VW is equal to V1 cos of alpha minus VB plus V1 cos of alpha. Further simplifying this equation, we get delta VW is equal to twice V1 cos of alpha minus VB. Let it be equation number 2. So the diagram work per kg of the steam can be given by WD is equal to delta VW multiplied by VP. Now we have already found the value of delta VW. Substituting in this equation, we get, therefore WD, that is work done per kg of the steam, is equal to twice V1 cos of alpha minus VB multiplied by VP. Let it be equation number 3. Further, the energy input to the blades per kg of steam is equal to V1 square divided by 2 plus VR2 square minus VR1 square whole divided by 2. This equation can be further simplified as it is equal to V1 square divided by 2 plus V1 square divided by 2 minus VR1 square divided by 2. Now the value of V1 square divided by 2 plus V1 square divided by 2 is completely V1 square. So we can simplify this equation as, hence it is equal to V1 square minus VR1 square divided by 2. Now we can also write the value of VR1 square is equal to V1 square plus VB square minus 2 V1 VB cos of alpha. So substituting this value in above equation, we get, therefore after substituting we get energy input is equal to V1 square minus bracket V1 square plus VB square minus 2 V1 VB cos alpha bracket complete divided by 2. Further, we can write energy input is equal to V1 square minus VB square plus 2 V1 V2 cos of alpha divided by 2. Let it be equation number 4. Now further we can find the diagram efficiencies of the blade such as follows. So the diagram efficiency is equal to 2 multiplied by bracket twice V1 cos of alpha minus VB multiplied by VB whole divided by V1 square minus VB square plus 2 V1 VB cos of alpha. Further simplifying this equation, we get the diagram efficiency as, therefore diagram efficiency is equal to twice VB square multiplied by bracket 2 multiplied by V1 cos of alpha divided by VB minus 1 bracket complete whole divided by V1 square multiplied by bracket 1 minus bracket VB square divided by V1 square plus twice bracket VB divided by V1 cos of alpha bracket complete. Further, we can write, now in the above equation if we substitute VB divided by V1 is equal to rho, which denotes the velocity ratio, then we get diagram efficiency is equal to 2 multiplied by rho square multiplied by bracket 2 cos alpha divided by rho minus 1 whole divided by 1 minus rho square plus 2 rho cos of alpha. The same equation can be further modified as diagram efficiency is equal to 2 multiplied by bracket 2 rho cos of alpha minus rho square divided by 1 minus rho square plus 2 rho cos of alpha. Let it be equation number 5. Now there is always a particular value of rho for which the diagram efficiency will be maximum. So differentiating the equation of diagram efficiency with respect to rho and then equating it to 0, we get, therefore dNd divided by d rho is equal to 1 minus rho square plus 2 rho cos of alpha whole multiplied by 2 multiplied by bracket cos alpha minus 2 rho bracket complete minus 2 rho multiplied by bracket 2 cos of alpha minus rho bracket complete multiplied by bracket minus 2 rho plus 2 cos of alpha whole divided by 1 minus rho square plus 2 rho square plus 2 rho cos of alpha whole square is equal to 0. Further simplifying this equation, we get, therefore 4 multiplied by bracket 1 minus rho square plus 2 rho cos of alpha multiplied by bracket cos of alpha minus rho minus 4 rho multiplied by bracket 2 cos alpha minus rho multiplied by bracket cos rho minus rho is equal to 0. Further simplifying this equation, we get 4 multiplied by bracket cos of alpha minus rho multiplied by bracket 1 minus rho square plus 2 rho cos of alpha plus rho square whole equal to 0. Now let us consider certain values in this equation. So from the above equation, we can say that optimum value of rho, that is rho optimum, is equal to cos of alpha. Let it be equation number 6. Or we can also say that Vb is equal to V1 cos of alpha. Now substituting the value of rho optimum, that is equation number 6, in equation number 5, we get, therefore efficiency diagram maximum value is equal to 2 cos square alpha divided by 1 plus cos square alpha. Let it be equation number 7. Further we can write, now from equation 3 and equation 5, the specific blading work which is corresponding to the maximum blading efficiency is given by Wd is equal to 2 Vb minus Vb multiplied by Vb, which is equal to Vb square. Let it be equation number 8. So the velocity diagram for the 50% reaction turbine operating with the maximum blading efficiency is as shown in figure D. So in figure D, we can see the velocity diagram of the 50% reaction turbine which is operating with the maximum blading efficiency. Here we can see that this is the angle beta 1, this is angle beta 2. Now these two angles are not equal, hence the blades are unsymmetrical. Then here we have the value VR1, this is V2, this is the angle alpha. Here we have VR2 and this is V omega. Then this is the value of Vb. So here we can see the velocity triangle. Delta Vm is equal to V1 cos of alpha, which is equal to Vb. Therefore, Wt is equal to delta Vm multiplied by Vb. Therefore, Wd is equal to Vb square. So we get the same equation from the diagram as well. Now it is no longer convenient to consider that nozzles and the blades are different, because in case of reaction turbine, both the fixed as well as moving blades act as the nozzle. Since the isentropic enthalpy drop of the stage is equally divided between the fixed as well as the moving blades as shown in figure E, we can write. So here we have the diagram which shows the enthalpy drop at the 50% of the reaction turbine. So it is basically HS graph. Then here we have the value of delta HFB. Here we have the value of delta HMB. Now from this diagram we can write delta HS FB, that is for the fixed blade, is equal to H1 minus H2S. Further we can modify this equation as, therefore delta HS FB is equal to V1 square minus V2 square divided by 2. Similarly we can write delta HS MB, that is for the moving blade, is equal to H2S minus H3S. Now this same equation can be further modified as delta HSMB is equal to VR2 square minus VR1 square divided by 2, which is equal to V1 square minus V2 square divided by 2. Hence we can write delta HSFB is equal to delta HSMB. So we can say that enthalpy drop for the fixed blade is equal to enthalpy drop for the moving blade. Hence the enthalpy drop for the particular stage can be written as delta HS stage is equal to H1 minus H3S. Further, we can simplify this equation as it is equal to twice H2S minus H3S. Hence, we can write enthalpy drop or the particular stage is equal to twice delta HS MB, that is 2 multiplied by enthalpy drop of the moving blade. Hence, the reaction turbine reaction R can be written as reaction R is equal to H2S minus H3S divided by H1 minus H3S. Further, we can modify this equation as, therefore reaction R is equal to delta HMB divided by twice delta HMP. Hence, we can write R is equal to 1 divided by 2. That is for the 50% of the reaction. Next, let us study the carryover efficiency. For the symmetrical starting, that is reaction R is equal to 50%, the isentropic enthalpy drop across the stage is evenly distributed between the stationary and the moving parts of the blade as shown in figure E, so that delta HS FB is equal to delta HS MB is equal to delta HS for that particular stage divided by 2 is equal to delta HS for a particular row of the blade. Now if we assume that there is the same nozzle efficiency for both fixed as well as moving rows, the kinetic energy of the fluid which is gained per row fixed as well as moving is given by it is equal to efficiency of the diagram multiplied by delta HS stage divided by 2. Now the kinetic energy which is associated with the leaving velocity of the preceding stage is always available to do the work of the following stage. So some losses are always involved in the journey from one stage of the steam to the next stage. Now this is taken into consideration by considering the carrier efficiency. Hence, the kinetic energy which is leaving from one stage and is available for the next stage can be given by NCO into V2 square divided by 2, where NCO is equal to carryover efficiency. So the energy balance for the fixed row of the blades is given by V1 square divided by 2 plus H1 is equal to efficiency, that is carryover efficiency, multiplied by V2 square divided by 2 plus H2. Further, we can write V1 square minus efficiency CO, that is carryover efficiency, multiplied by V2 square whole divided by 2 is equal to H2 minus H1. Further, we can write therefore V1 square minus efficiency CO, that is carryover efficiency, multiplied by V2 square divided by 2 is equal to efficiency into delta HS stage divided by 2. So the value of delta HS stage can be written as delta HS stage is equal to V1 square minus efficiency CO V2 square divided by efficiency N, which is equation number 9. So we can say that this is the available energy for the conversion in one stage. Now the energy output or the diagram work per kg of the steam is given by equation number 3. Therefore, the combined nozzle and the blade efficiency can be given by efficiency NB is equal to bracket 2 V1 into cos of alpha minus VB multiplied by VB whole divided by V1 square minus efficiency CO V2 square divided by efficiency N. Further simplifying this equation, we get efficiency NB, that is nozzle and blade combined, is equal to efficiency L, that is nozzle efficiency, multiplied by VB square divided by V1 square multiplied by bracket 2V1 cos of alpha divided by VB minus 1 whole divided by 1 minus efficiency CO, that is carryover efficiency, multiplied by V2 square divided by V1 square. Let it be equation number 10. Again we know that V2 square is equal to VR2 square plus VB square minus 2VR2 VB into cos of alpha. Hence we can write V2 square divided by V1 square is equal to 1 plus rho square minus 2 rho cos of alpha. In this equation, rho is equal to VB divided by V1. Now substituting this equation, in equation number 10, we get combined efficiency of nozzle and blade is equal to nozzle efficiency multiplied by rho square multiplied by 2 cos alpha divided by rho minus 1 whole divided by 1 minus carryover efficiency multiplied by 1 minus rho square minus 2 rho cos of alpha. Now same equation can be written as nozzle and blade combined efficiency is equal to efficiency of nozzle multiplied by 2 rho cos of alpha minus rho square divided by 1 minus carryover efficiency multiplied by bracket 1 plus rho square minus 2 rho cos of alpha. Let it be equation number 11. Now when the carryover efficiency is equal to 1, at that time the combined efficiency of nozzle and blade is equal to efficiency of nozzle. Hence we can write so it is clear that the losses are confined to the nozzle friction only. Similarly, when the value of carryover efficiency is equal to 0, at that time there is no carryover kinetic energy to the next stage. Therefore, the combined efficiency of the blade and nozzle is equal to efficiency of nozzle multiplied by 2 multiplied by rho cos alpha minus rho square. Let it be equation number 12. Now from this equation we can say that this is the equation or the efficiency of the single row of the blades. If nozzle efficiency is equal to 1, then the combined efficiency of nozzle and blade is equal to the combined efficiency of the nozzle and blade is equal to efficiency B1 is equal to diagram efficiency, that is efficiency D is equal to 2 rho cos of alpha minus rho square. Let it be equation number 13. So the value for the maximum efficiency can be given by again if we differentiate the diagram efficiency with respect to rho, then we get dNd divided by d rho is equal to 2 cos of alpha minus 2 rho is equal to 0. Hence we can write the optimum value of rho is equal to cos of alpha. Now substituting this value in the above equation, we get efficiency B1 max is equal to cos square alpha. Let it be equation number 14. Now if we compare the various equations, then it reveals that efficiencies for the simple impulse, Curtis and the reaction blading are almost equal. However, when the friction is taken into consideration, then the reaction stage is found to be more efficient. So the friction losses are significant in the reaction stage since the flow velocities are also lower. So in this way, we have studied the reaction turbine and various equations related to the working of the reaction turbine. Thank you friends for watching this video. Stay tuned with